This is where they were this morning.
Vic Starkey of Marion Springs owns 60 acres of land, mainly used for hunting. But lately, some unwelcome guests are visiting. Feral swine or wild pigs.
We've seen them back here different times. I shot at one last muzzleloader season and just blew some hair off it.
Starkey estimates 24 wild pigs have invaded the Marion Springs area in southwest Saginaw County. He says they dig holes in his hunting property, root under trees, and knock down corn on neighboring farms. He sees them as a real threat to corn farmers and to hunters, since wild pigs tend to scare the deer away.
We're going to have to do something because they're breeding in the wild back here. They shot 4 of them Sunday behind us here, 4 young ones.
Fred Biegler, also of Marion Springs, shot 2 wild pigs the day after Labor Day.
That's really nothing. Over a year ago, I saw there was I'm going to say 8 to 10 that crossed the road right out here.
He has a trap from the U.S. Department of Agriculture, but so far he's caught nothing except a deer.
My big concern is not only the agriculture, but the damage that they can do to the whitetail hunting industry in the state of Michigan. That adds millions of dollars to our economy.
Ed Golder of the Michigan DNR says wild pigs are tough to catch because they are elusive and nocturnal. They were originally brought into the state for the purpose of hunting at wild game ranches, but many of them have escaped and are now breeding in the wild. The DNR says wild pigs breed twice per year, having 4 to 6 piglets per litter. They say they are trying to get a handle on the problem before it gets out of control.
Look at states like Texas and Florida and Mississippi suffer serious damage every year because of these animals and have to spend a lot of money just in mitigation in order to deal with these animals.
The DNR says wild pigs have been found in 75 of Michigan's 83 counties, including the Upper Peninsula.
These are hardy animals. I mean, they're Russian boar, so they were bred to survive the tough winters.
Golder says they carry diseases like pseudorabies, tuberculosis, and anthrax. To control and hopefully reduce the wild hog population, the DNR is encouraging hunters with a valid license to shoot them on site. Landowners are also permitted to shoot the animals on site without a hunting license on their own property. But this past April, the DNR began inspecting private ranches and farms, killing wild hogs. Doug Miller, a wild game rancher in Jackson County, says that's taking it a step too far.
This is private property.
Miller has elk, exotic game from Africa, and wild pigs on his 200-acre ranch. He says his pigs are securely fenced in and clean.
I've had a whole herd test here done by the USDA to where every animal on this property was tested. Nothing.
Miller believes the DNR inspections on private property are hogwash.
The pork producers think, and this is my opinion, that if they get rid of us, they no longer have competition in this state.
Scott Everett, a legislative consultant for the Michigan Animal Farmers Association, agrees that the DNR does not belong inside private fences.
For the DNR to apply what they're doing to animals that are under the husbandry of humans, owned by individuals that are in fact behind fences, is wrong.
Everett says it is a felony to fence feral swine in Michigan and feels the DNR's definition of a feral swine is so confusing and strict that every pig rancher in the state has reason to be concerned.
Every pig in Michigan has a curly or straight tail. Every pig in Michigan has a floppy or folded ear. And the DNR declaratory ruling says that the DNR may consider an invasive species based on one characteristic.
5 lawsuits were recently filed in Michigan against the DNR, calling its ruling on feral swine as an invasive species unconstitutional. All of these cases wound up in a Marquette County court in October, and just this week a judge ruled in favor of the state.
I agree that people have a right to do with their land what they want to do, but when doing with what that land does affects your neighbors and everything else, then it does become the community's business.
Everett says the issue will go back to court, but for now, wild pigs are an invasive species, and the DNR has license to kill them on public or private land. Ty Shesky, NBC 25 News.
It's like a tornado came through. Yeah.